Thank you. It was actually given, the presentation shows there are different type of teas which will help you in different ways, and it's specialized with some of the very specific disease which can help that cure, and Yuvan is actually giving life to all people, and also a chance to improve their health. So it was an amazing presentation by you, Yashashwini. Thank you so much. And for this wonderful presentation, I would request Preeti Kapadia ma'am to please come up on stage and felicitate her with a wonderful moment to present here. Thank you so much. Coming to our next presenter of the day, I would want to call upon Dr. Shweta Rastogi, a corporate wellness trainer. Her topic on presentation is health benefits of tea and coffee from a medical perspective. And I want to also give a little brief about her as well. And here it goes. She is a clinical dietitian and lifestyle medicine consultant, author best-selling book Eat Right to Stay Bright, Manage Diet to Manage Disease and Diet, Diabetes and Your Book. Founder Secretary and Vice President, Indian Dietetic Association, Jaipur Chapter, certified in lifestyle medicines from Harvard Medical School, Boston, and training in dietetics from Chicago and Maryland, USA. More than a decade in dietetics practice, presently Chief Dietitian, Guru Nanak Hospital and Research Center, Mumbai. Awarded International Award in Nutrition Research from Britain. On board, Clinical Research Award Nutrition, IndianDoctorsGuide.com, 360wellnesscare.com and mycity4kids.com, international and national level wellness companies. Book review critic, reviewed books by critical acclaim and nutrition, dietetics and food hygiene. Several research articles published in leading national and international journals and articles in various health magazines and newspapers. Regularly featured on Health Channel, Care TV for interviews and health programs. So I request Shweta Rastogi ma'am to please come up on stage and give us more benefits on tea and coffee from the medical perspective. And here we go. Thank you.
Much for our kind introduction. I'll just insert the pen drive. The tea leaves are picked before the leaf buds fully open. These leaves are bigger and lighter, and then they are air dried, and that's how the nutrients are conserved. The antioxidants are 3 times more than the green tea, and it's become a recent tea popularity now, and it's available. That's one of the best things. Now the green tea is one which undergoes minimal oxidation, so it will also have its share of antioxidants, and 5 to 40% is oxidized, and heat is immediately passed through the steam or dry cooking pans, and that's why the conservation of nutrients is still there. Processing within 1 or 2 days of harvesting. Oolong tea, which is quite popular, it's oxidized more than the green tea and less than the black tea. Oxidized 2 to 3 days. Black tea, which is I think the most popular tea, and I think Yuvan has done a good job by adding different varieties of health tea to it. So black tea is something which is not only popular and it is consumed maximum. See, when patients come to us and we talk about tea, they are very much convinced about black tea. I'm not saying it is not useful. The thing is, when we are shifting them to green or white tea, they are a little reluctant because this is something which they are used to. So it also has its nutrients. The leaves are completely oxidized. The oxidization is between 2 weeks and 1 month. So the nutrients would be a little lesser, but the antioxidant values are also there. And I will also be covering about different antioxidants in the tea, so that if somebody is not having white or green tea, what are the antioxidants he or she is getting from the other varieties. as we had already seen that composition will vary according to the season, the strain or variety of tea, how is the tea storage done, and what were the brewing conditions. Now, herbal tea is the tea which is not made from Camellia sinensis. It is a tea which is now becoming popular. It is either with herbs like tulsi, or there are certain leaves, ginger is added to it, a drop of honey, or some other herbs like some piece of turmeric is there. So these are also becoming popular, and this is one of the most important methods by which naturopaths treat their patients. So when you go for any retreat campaigns, you'll find herbal tea being served as an important part of the camp. Now, what is the beneficial component in tea that we are always looking at? It is the polyphenols, the catechins, which I think Sir also pointed out. It is one of the most powerful antioxidant. It slows oxidative damage to cells. Now, what happens is everyone today at every moment of time is exposed to oxidation of cells or production of free radicals. Today, if I am driving a car and suddenly if I apply the brakes, I lead to formation of a lot of free radicals in my body. If not this, I have an exam tomorrow, and the previous night if I sit and study, I am straining myself so much that due to stress there is production of free radicals. So we need to scavenge those free radicals which are being formed right from age 1 till the old age. So our biological clock is ticking very faster. Our organs are aging faster than our chronological age. And that's when we conduct chronology aging test on patients. You'll be surprised to know that a 30 years old heart is as old as 50 years or 60 years maybe. Or maybe the spine of a 25-year-old is as old as 60 years. To give you a very simple example, today when you are sitting here, if you meet any of your friends who complains of backache at this age of 25 to 26, you can imagine that these are the problems of old age which earlier used to happen later, but now these can be seen very early. So, the white and the green tea contain highest levels of ECGC. The least processed they are, that's the reason why the catechins are different here. Now, thiaflavins and thiaargubins, the 1 and 2, they are present in highest quantity in oolong and black tea. So, you do have antioxidants but of different types in different types of tea. I thought this will be a very good way to understand the different types of flavonoids and antioxidant material present in various tea. You can see flavonols are equal in green tea and black tea. But as I mentioned, thiaflavins and thiaargubins are more in black tea and catechins are more in green tea. So you are getting the benefit of both the teas if you want to consume either. Now, what exactly is antioxidant and how do we get it? Should I only drink tea to get this benefit, or can I get it from elsewhere? In the West, red wine is a very popular drink. But in India, what happens if we allow our patients to drink? You can understand what's going to happen. It's like a prescription given to them that this doctor is very good and she's allowed me to have so many drinks. So that becomes very, very subjective. Now here if you see, if you have 2 cups of black tea, it gives you the antioxidants which are present in a glass of red wine, or 3.5 glasses of beer, or 7 glasses of orange juice, or 12 glasses of white wine, or 20 glasses of apple juice. So which you think is better? Wine. Yes, black tea is definitely better. First of all, it's easier, and when you're consuming black tea, the amount of calories you're consuming is least. What happens with alcoholic beverages is the amount of calories that you're getting are directly converted into triglycerides. So even though you are not getting your other systems affected, but one of the components of lipids gets deranged. Tea is good. As Yashaswini mentioned, if we add milk, what happens? The moment you add any milk or dairy to the tea, the health benefits of tea are negated. Why? Simple reason is the casein, which is the protein of the milk, it does not allow the catechins or the flavonoids to remain in the same concentration or in its active form, and that's how the effect is not seen in the body. So you will see Indians are consuming a lot of tea every day. I get patients who drink around 6 to 8 cups of tea in a day. And when I tell them to stop this much consumption of tea, what is their reaction? They are very well read. Madam, I read that it has immense benefits. The moment you are adding milk and tea, you are increasing the calories. With sugar, you are inviting the problems of gastritis. And thirdly, the flavonoids or the antioxidants which we are talking about are not helping the moment you add milk to it. So health benefits of drinking the black or the original form of tea is, it definitely refreshes, it contains antioxidants, it has lesser content of caffeine than coffee, it reduces your risk of heart attack and stroke. Why? Because their base is free radicals. It helps to protect your bones again by reducing the free radicals, enhances your immunity. See, if today I am stressed, the next day I may catch cold and cough, simply because my body is getting more free radicals being formed and there is no active component which can control it. So if I have good tea, it can help me. It may protect against cancer, diabetes and other degenerative diseases. I have written the word may so that people understand that it's not the normal tea that I'm talking about, it is the original form of tea that has benefits. So if we have to summarize about tea, tea is definitely good for health. It should be taken without milk and sugar. Least oxidized tea has more health benefits and brewing of tea should be minimized. Now let's take up coffee. Coffee is a brewed drink prepared from roasted seeds of the coffee plant. And it has a very high caffeine content. Now, Sir has already spoken about caffeine, benefit of caffeine. I would be covering about the side effects of caffeine. So what is the message in between moderation and how do we define moderation? See, now coffee has certain compounds called diterpenes, cafestol and caviol. These are the compounds which, if taken in excess quantity, will increase your bad cholesterol in the body, that is LDL cholesterol. It may even lower your good cholesterol, which in Asians is naturally a little on the lower side because of our genetic composition. So we cannot afford to have a drink which can increase our bad cholesterol and decrease good cholesterol. Now, coffee components in terms of antioxidants. Polyphenols are present, which are lignans and flavonoids, which have anti-carcinogenic properties and also scavenge free radicals. Chlorogenic acid, which release the glucose slowly in the system, so the insulin sensitivity is increased. It is also a potent antioxidant. Now, just compare the caffeine content of coffee with others. You can see two varieties of coffee, the gourmet coffee and the brewed coffee. The caffeine content is very high. Followed by black tea, decaf black tea, white tea, decaf or decaf white tea, green tea and decaf green tea. So if I am consuming tea, my natural consumption of caffeine is a little lower compared to the coffee. Now what has the experts to say about coffee consumption? We require caffeine, it does help us to give that adrenaline rush, but moderation is the key. How we define moderation? Not more than 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine in a day should be had. This much is optimum for our body. And we not only get caffeine from coffee but from other sources also. So our average consumption is around 200 milligrams daily as per the Food and Chemical Toxicology report. What is the side effect of caffeine? If I consume too much of coffee or caffeine from other sources as well, it will stimulate my central nervous system, which will, initially if the quantity is limited, it will keep me alert and boosted. Or it will also help me to relieve the pain. The moment it exceeds the safe limits, it will cause restlessness, anxiety, irritability, headaches and withdrawal symptoms. See, you will find many people who, they routinely come to our clinic and they say, I need that first cup of tea in the morning. I cannot concentrate on work. I cannot do anything. I get that headache. You can imagine tea is just like a drug which is causing addiction. Only thing is, since tea is a household product and the side effects are minimal, it is not considered to be a bad thing. But it can get really addictive if you do not pay attention to. Similarly, many office goers, they say that evening tea is a must for me. And what happens with evening tea is not only the milk and sugar is going, but the accompaniments which are going with the tea are also equally bad. Either they end up eating fried snacks or lot of biscuits. I've heard people saying I can finish one full packet of biscuit with a cup of tea or coffee. So 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day is considered to be safe. Another thing is that caffeine can also cause dehydration in the body. So if you are taking excessive coffee during summers, your body's water requirement is already high. So you may end up having a little dehydration in the body. How do I get caffeine from other sources? You can see a lot of chocolate products have caffeine. If you see the content is not very high, but the way we consume, we can finish 1 bar of chocolate in a day, or we may add cocoa powder to a lot of things like milk, for example, or we may have chocolate drinks added to our milk and then we consume, which is very common with kids. And then all upon that I have black tea which has 40 to 100 milligrams, or I have an average cup of coffee which could be 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine per day. So it's very easy for me to reach that higher limits of caffeine of 400 milligrams, which can start giving me those symptoms. But many people tell me that my friend consumes 6 cups of coffee and I consume 2 cups of coffee and the effects are just totally opposite. I get a lot of restlessness and anxiety and I'm awake during the late evenings, but nothing happens to her. On the contrary, she has a cup of coffee and sleeps very well. The effects of coffee or caffeine has a lot of factors to be seen. The body mass, the average weight of a person may be different and that's how the difference would be different. Age of a person, a younger person may not get affected so much as maybe an older person. Smoking habits. If I am a chronic smoker, the effect of caffeine will be worse on me compared to a non-smoker. Drug or hormone use. Here what happens is if I am on a steroid or I am taking certain other drugs, the efficacy of that drug may lower down with excessive caffeine consumption. And stress. See, initially what happens whenever I take stress management workshops, people keep telling me, when I have a cup of tea or coffee, I get an immediate relief. What is happening during that particular time is you are getting small amount of caffeine which is keeping you alert and active. But on the contrary, what is happening is my brain is getting addicted or used to that caffeine. So I am now, it's becoming a long-term stressor for me. So what I would advise you is caffeine is good when taken in limited quantity. Now there's something called green coffee which has come up and I was very happy to see it last time in the exhibition. Coffee beans that have not been roasted too much. The roasting process reduces the amount of chemical chlorogenic acids, which are the potent antioxidants present in green coffee. Therefore, the green coffee beans will have higher level of antioxidants compared to your black coffee. So I would advise patients who are very much used to drinking coffee to shift over to green coffee. So green coffee, which has chlorogenic acid, it will help you to have health benefits like heart diseases management, reduce diabetes and also help in weight loss. Secondly, it has low caffeine content which we are looking for. So what do we summarize or what is the take-home message from coffee? That coffee has to have, we should have a moderate consumption of coffee. We have to limit the intake of other caffeinated beverages along with this, and excessive coffee can also increase the possibility of gastritis in the system. See, if 2 cups of tea can give you gastritis, you can imagine coffee has 3 times more caffeine than tea, so it will definitely be more acidic for your system. So thank you so much for the patient hearing.
So much knowledge on tea and coffee today, and also the benefits and also the benefits as well as something which is over-consumed, then it will harm you. So thank you so much, ma'am. And now I would request Vijayendra Pratap Yadav sir to come up here from Tea Board. He's from Tea Board, to come up here and felicitate the Sohi ma'am here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And our next speaker, Mr. Rajiv Baid, MD Evergreen Dua Tea Private Limited. The topic that he's going to talk on is broadleaf tea factories, and I would also like to say something about him. Mr. Rajiv Baid started his tea journey as a tea hawker distributing tea in small packets at railway stations in the Kishanganj district of Bihar. He has been associated with tea industry for more than 10 years now. He is a young dynamic entrepreneur who has brought a revolution in tea industry by bringing innovation and technology in varied manners. Today he owns Apex Tea Export Private Limited, located in Bihar, which is the first bought leaf tea factory of Bihar. He has promoted the tea industry in this region where it is difficult to get green leaves for tea manufacturing. Under his leadership and supervision, Mr. Baid has motivated small farmers by promoting self-help group to convert their existing jute and vacant plots into tea gardens. He has helped to convert the loss-making jute agro business into profitable tea industry. He has helped to convert the loss-making jute agro business into profitable tea industry by setting up the broadleaf factory that created immense demand for the raw materials, that is the tea leaves. Recently, he has constructed Evergreen Doors Tea Private Limited in the Jalpaiguri district of West Bengal, which is one of the finest CTC tea factory that has kept in pace with all the requirements of maintaining the hygienic conditions of manufacturing the clean and the best quality tea for the consumers. Mr. Baid is currently the Secretary of the North Bengal Tea Producers Welfare Association and also is a member of CII. So with this introduction, I would request Mr. Baid to please come up here and present an amazing presentation that he has and also his experience in tea business. Thank you.
So I hope everyone is enjoying the exhibition and gaining the desired benefit. Today I want to tell you something about the Broadleaf Tea Factory. As everyone has spoken about the benefit of tea, and I now want to share the state process of its history, tea history. History of tea in India. Mr. Maniram Diwan was the first tea planter of India. The first tea plantation was cultivated in the land of Assam. In May 1838, the first Indian tea was sent to England for public sale. The tea was popularized in the 1950s in India, where major revolution was brought about the tea industry. History of Broadleaf Tea Factory. The two segments of fire of tea garden, one of the tea garden and second one is the Broadleaf Tea Factory. Broadleaf Tea Factory, a concept which buys the tea leaves and manufacturing the same. BLF do not have their own tea plantation and depend on small farmer and green leaves to produce their tea. It was first developed in the southern part of India, in the city of Kannur. During early 1980s, the concept gradually mushroomed in the eastern part of India, in the state of Assam, Bengal and Bihar. The first BLF factory in West Bengal was Pioneer Tea Factory set up in 1996. In the year 2002, considering the scope of Broadleaf Tea Factory segment, I with my colleague, co-partner in the industry, came up with the first Broadleaf Tea Factory in Bihar, the Apex Tea Export Private Limited, located at 931 in Kishanganj. The concept of BLF in Bihar, region head, जो मैडम ने बता चुका already. The BLF segment is segregated in the various part of India: Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, some parts of Kerala and Bihar. As per tea board estimated in the region of North Bengal for the year 2013, the total tea production was about 315 million kg out of which 25%, 110 million kg each contributed by the DLF segment. It is possible for DLF to maintain the difference between the current selling price and the production cost. DLF can beat a certain saturated liability and manage to keep the production cost lower than the organized tea garden. The newly opened Bottling Tea Factory are technical better of which updated technology than many of the state factory. The best example for which is our newly established Evergreen Dwarf Tea Factory. Hence the made tea is also better in terms of quality at the level of manufacturing. The adoption of advanced technology in BLF also facilitated many of them to achieve the production to high quality tea and the high prices from wholesale as well as private sale. The BLF owners nowadays are in constant contact with the small grower and maintain the standard, and so they can maintain good quality tea. Evergreen Dwarf Tea Bottling Tea Factory, a state setup. Evergreen Dwarf Tea Factory, a bottling tea factory set up in September 2013. There has been a great deal of emphasis on hygienic tea processing to maintain a clean environment in the factory premises. Our factory is built on a state road which gives it a beautiful engineering structure, and hence starting from welding to sorting, each department comes one after the other. Our factory is ISO and FSSAI certified. Diversification in the packaging style, usage of paper sack to keep the quality tea intact. We have installed better concept which very few bottling tea factories have introduced, such as NGWF, Green Leaf Sector, and Green Leaf Shader, and consistency of quality, and the installation of finest class of facility setup which have helped the reduction in the consumption of electricity. Automatic humidification control, and the cold saver, and the usage of indoor tiles for the whole factory which prevent the formation of bacteria and help the keeping of the factory environment hygienic. Implementation of international standard of the grading and that ensure proper segregation of the primary and secondary tea. Thank you for listening to me.
Every morning is a new beginning for mankind, and everyone wishes to start their day by embracing the fresh sun rays. Thus every people decided to start their day with the rejuvenating aroma and vitality of a good strong cup of tea. For this reason, tea can be considered as the second best beverage after water. From the tea gardens of Darjeeling and Duas, the best quality of tea leaves are chosen to ensure to give you the royal freshness over a cup of tea by the Evergreen Tea, which promises to give you the top technology trusted brand. In the year 2002, considering the requirements of the lives of the people in both international and national market, Apex Tea Private Limited, which is located at Bihar on 31st National Highway, produced 1600 ton tea per annum on the demand of our country. After the success of Apex Tea, we bring you best ever tea which believes in fulfilling the expectation of its user, our latest Evergreen Tea. Situated in West Bengal at Kuchki, Jalpaiguri on the 31D National Highway, and at a close distance of 12 km from Tea Auction Center. It was established in 2012 with a capacity of about 25 lakhs kg of made city. Industrialist Mr. Rajiv Bad has seen in the requirement and possibilities of how to fulfill need of the aromatic refreshment and gave it in the form of Evergreen Duos Tea Private Limited. Tea has a world-class machinery set up with a high-tech system and totally automated process. There has been a great deal of emphasis on hygienic tea processing and to maintain a clean environment in the factory premises. This is the result of producing good, high-class quality of tea and distributing among the people worldwide. Not only the production of tea is given importance, but also every worker is considered being a member of Evergreen Tea family. Healthy living, proper food and sanitation, regular health checkup are given by the company for the betterment of its people. Now let's look into the Evergreen Tea processing unit. In the arena of high-quality black tea production, Evergreen Duos Tea Private Limited uses the CTC technique and collecting the best quality leaves from the tea gardens of Darjeeling, Duos, processes them with utmost care at their factory. The first step at the factory is demoisturizing of the leaves after proper rain. To bring out the moisture from the leaves, withering process is used, while the leaves are scattered and dried in the fan. After drying, the leaves are brought to the rolling processing unit through the mold. From here starts the implementation of producing the high-quality CTC tea. After withering, the leaves are passed through rotor fans, which cleans and shuffles tea leaves, after which they are sent to rolling process through tunnels. In the rolling process, the leaves have to go through the threadless roller in the CTC unit. Perfect cutting and extracting of excess water is done here. To achieve the best quality of CTC tea, the leaves has to undergo the rolling almost 3 to 4 times. Next comes the fermentation process, which takes place at CFM units, where the leaves are fermented for 60 to 100 minutes. Here, the proper uses of temperature is very important. From production of best quality tea, the color, the flavor and the shape of the tea leaves highly depends on this process. After fermentation, the next step is drying or firing, where the tea leaves are dried on a broad tray under hot air for 15 to 30 minutes. In the drying process, the leaves are dried and after drying it gets its black color. After drying process comes the sorting and grading process, where the tea leaves are sorted and graded by chain and quality under expert supervision. During this process, utmost sincerity is given by every worker to bring the best quality tea for its consumers before sending the tea to the market for the consumers. Proper testing is done by experts. Developed high-tech research and tests are done for the quality gradation along with health and nutrition. Only after these measures are taken, the tea is sent to the market by Evergreen. Also during the apple process, proper vacuum packaging is done through sampling process, which keeps quality of the tea intact and is sent to the tea buyers and tea growers. The Evergreen tea is the latest ISO and FSSAI certified, which ensures its quality.
Evergreen Tea, quality tea with a blend of technology.
Thank you.